Hi, I'm Alan, Managing Director and Founder of Ruark Audio.
And I'm Jan, Mechanical Engineer and Industrial Designer.
There's one interesting thing about development, I think, really, is that how quickly you can get a product from an idea. With rapid prototyping, you can generally get a product 90% there very quickly. It's the 10% that takes.
Yeah, I mean, we get to a kind of looks like, works like, sounds like system relatively quickly.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there's, as you say, the last 10% is always a huge effort.
Yes. Huge effort. That's when frustration comes in. You feel the first 90% is like you think you get there, think, yeah, we've got this, and then you run into all these brick walls that you didn't realise existed. I always describe speakers as being a bit like a chef, that is putting the different ingredients in, a little bit of salt, pepper, and adding it and taking bits away and just improving the recipe every time till you get what you want.
Yeah, I mean, there's no killer kind of one thing about these Sabres that make them what they are. There's no, whiz-bang engineering. It's just a real balance of everything.
Yeah.
Every single, from the cabinet construction to the bracing, to the wadding, to the internal connection, the wiring, the this, the that, the other, the proportions that affect internal reflections, obviously the drivers, the crossovers, huge amount of work went into the crossovers, getting those right, and using the crossovers to develop that kind of Ruark sound, which we like. So it's I guess it is the sound we like.
We have our own sound that we want to, the Ruark sound I would call it, and I think it's just come through years of listening to live music, just having an idea of how we think things should sound. And I know if I don't like something.
Well, it's a balance of warmth and detail.
Yes.
Quite a lot. Yes. Of what we're about, and it's great having tons of detail, but that can become tiring.
Yes.
It's great having a real warmth to it, but that can lack clarity.
Exactly.
So it's balancing the two, and it's it's our sound.
Now, we've always been about making products which people are proud to have in their homes, something that's going to be on display all the time, and that's where we came from. I think my dad, with his furniture background, we always try to do that little bit, where everyone else was making square boxes, we were doing something different. We're putting curves on the edges and little bits of detail that were made it look a bit more furniture-y, I suppose, a bit more like pieces of furniture. I think what Jan in particular has done a great job here is making them look contemporary. So he's doing the same ideas, but
well, a nod to the past.
Nod to the past. I think we've moved on from the 50s and 60s into the 70s. I know a lot of people. I think there's some of the designs in the 70s were some of the best. I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
There was a lot of bad stuff as it was in the 50s and 60s, but I think so. There's that nod to the past, and I think it's bang on at the moment.
Well, you just got to listen, try, and also different rooms, different setups. All sorts of different things, because of course we are designing products for people to have in their homes, not for people to adapt their homes to our products, like you might expect with some audiophile products.
Yes.
We are much more about, you get a Ruark, you put it in your home, and you enjoy the music.
So the idea with the 610 and the Sabre-Rs, I was explaining this about getting people back into music again, and with a system that they just know works, and they can add a turntable to it. But we know that with the 610, the R610, the Sabre-R's, that for most people it's their way back into, you know, they may think, I want a pair of, I want to go listen to stereo again, I want to get back into music, and this is exactly what we've achieved here.
Owning as a Ruark is very different. The Ruark almost becomes transparent in that you have it in your home and you go back to enjoying the music.
Yes, yeah.
And that's why, again, it's about the 610 and the Sabre, it's about balance. So there's no single bit of technology or design in there that's the killer feature.
Yes.
It's about everything, even down to, you know, the speaker cables that we supply. Everything is just so that out of the box you get a really good experience.
One thing that, coming back to what we said at the beginning, we do this because we love it. It's not really a business, is it? You know?
No, it really is a passion. Though. I
mean, Jan drives miles here. He wouldn't,
I do.
He wouldn't. He must love it, or he wouldn't drive all that way.
Yeah,
Sort of.
yeah. 2-hour commute.
Yes, that's right. Yes, you wouldn't do that usually. If it's
but only twice a week.
Only twice a week.
I mean, the materials we use are all relatively straightforward, but it's about using really high quality of everything. So they're MDF cabinets, nothing wrong with the MDF. In fact, acoustically, it's excellent. It's got a really good combination of stiffness and dampening. But in terms of making something that lasts, it's about making it properly, making sure all the materials, the paint finishes, the glues, everything is top notch. We do full environmental testing of everything. I mean, I guess the most innovative material recently has been this wood here, which is only a small element on these charcoal Sabres, but that's a fused walnut, and it's an engineered wood that we're quite excited to start using. The nice thing about that is made in essence from scrap wood. Yes. So you are not having to chop down virgin,
yes.
Hopefully not rainforest, but yeah, even walnut trees and whatever else, and then be hyper selective about the veneers you use. In this case, it's an engineered walnut, which is much more sustainable. And designing things to last, I think that's almost number one in terms of it's all very well being recyclable, being low impact, etc., etc. But number one is having something that lasts. If you keep a product for 20 or 30 years,
I know. I mean,
as opposed to replacing it every 2.
Yeah, that's it. I mean,
that's number one.
Well, I think it's a good thing about gear like this. The gear we make is that, you know, we expect people to use it, you know, from at least their whole life, some of them. I mean, we've got people using our early speakers, which were 40 years old now, and they're still working.
Well, that's the great advantage of passive speakers, is that they just go on and they don't age. The problem with everything else is you've got technologies that continuously change.
Yes, yeah.
So, yeah, we integrate phono stage on all our systems now, so you can plug in a turntable.
That's strange, isn't it? I mean, 10 years ago, if you said turntables are coming back, you said don't be silly. But now, you know, turntables are back, and I think it's that constant harking back, isn't it, to people. I mean, my daughter Hannah, she's got a growing record collection, and she loves it. She loves it. You know, I think. Yeah, it's that because it's that tactile, isn't it?
On the packaging front, it's all cardboard now. We've tried to eliminate plastics as much as possible. We still use some foam because there's just nothing better. There really is nothing better in terms of. I mean, it's that balance of sustainability and reliability. So it's pointless having sustainable packaging if the product doesn't make it in prime condition to the customer.
Yes.
Because then you're throwing away loads of materials.
Yes.
But yeah, and legislation is getting tougher and tougher around the world, and rightly so. and we are rising to the challenge.
Yes.
It's all vegetable inks, vegetable-based inks that we use. It's cardboard, it's paper. We're trying to, as I say, eliminate as much as possible plastics and foams. So bit by bit, we're all evolving.
Yes. Yeah. Now, I think that probably, dare I say it, that a lot of hi-fi guys develop their audio from listening to other audio systems. You know, I don't think that's the best way to, you know, it's like when you hear a voice. You know, there's listening to natural things around you, listening to nature, listening to the world around you. This is trying to recreate that. Yeah, so I say, well, we've been doing this for, well, I've been doing this for 40 years, and before that, 50 is having that sort of 50 odd. Just always enjoyed it. I think I've always described speakers as being a bit like a chef, you know, is putting the different ingredients in, a little bit of salt, pepper, and adding it and taking bits away and just improving the recipe every time till you get what you want. Now, I think that's the nice thing about as Jan was saying, passive devices, is that they should work forever if you look after them. We're very much into proportions. Again, I think the height, width, depth, slightly too wide, slightly too deep, the proportions start to look right.
Well, as the designer of these, I would say these are perfect.
Yes, exactly, yeah, exactly.